What's going on, people? So here are the top 5 ways that I think you can gain confidence in your trading. So starting off at number 5, I would say don't look at other people's analysis. Don't look to other people for your analysis. Now there are 2 sides to this. The way that I share my information to my mentorship group, what I actually do is I provide narrative and I provide a little bit of an understanding to what could be happening at the beginning of the day just prior to London session. I will provide a little bit of information to say, this is what I think is going to happen for the day. Here is where I'm going to be pointing to, looking at this specific thing. And then what I will do is I'll get them to go into their own charts and I will say, right, you need to go in and you need to look at your own charts and figure out your own narrative, your own story for why you think you could get into XYZ trade. The second side is, if you're going to sit there and do your own analysis and, figure out what you want to be doing on the chart, and then when it actually comes down to taking that trade, either you don't trust it or you look to someone else and you say, okay, well, is someone else doing the same thing? Not only are you getting rid of your development as a trader, but what you're actually doing subconsciously is you're outsourcing the issue, right? Or the problem. Let's just say, for example, that this trade that you copy off that other person doesn't go right. What you're actually going to do is you're going to outsource your frustration or your hatred even to that kind of person, and you're going to not be accountable. You're going to say, well, that was their analysis, they done that, and I just decided to put the trade on. No, just think about that, right? Think about that for just a moment. What you've done is you've copied someone else. They've not got it right, which is absolutely fine. They don't have to get it right. And then what you've done is you've actually copied that trade and taken the loss as well. Instead of sticking with your own analysis and then trusting what you have actually done and how you've read the chart, you end up putting the loss down to them making a bad analysis or a wrong analysis, or even if it was a right analysis on their behalf, right? So they might have a different strategy to you. They might be getting into different positions. They might have a different entry model. They might look at structure different. They might do all these different things. You're not trusting your own analysis, which then means that actually it's your mistake. We're all prone to outsource our mistakes and our failures, but when it comes to, placing a good trade and it actually wins, let's just say it wasn't even, your own analysis, then what you're going to do is you're still going to take it because you're going to say, look, I took this trade, I've done the work, but ultimately you're not pushing yourself any further forward. You're actually doing yourself a hindrance because you're not doing any of the analysis. You're not actually learning what you need to be doing. You're not learning what works. You're not learning what doesn't work. You're literally just copying someone else. So what you actually need to be doing is you need to be accountable for your own decisions, and everything in trading is all your own decision, right? We're basically left with this absolute minefield with no rules, no real structure, no real idea of what we actually need to do after kind of being in the real world, if you like. And then, having rules, having structures, having a job, right? Having to do things for your boss every day, right? And then when you come into trading and you get on the market, there is no rules. You can do whatever you want. This is one of the big reasons why everyone kind of struggles when they come into trading, because ultimately it is you versus you, right? I can't say this enough times, but everything that you do in this market is all down to you. This leads us nicely onto number 4, which is stop comparing yourself to others. When it comes to the realm of smart money concepts, the only thing that you really see is getting into every single trade, taking 1 pip stop losses, making 100 RR on every single trade. Subconsciously, what your mind is actually going to be doing is you're going to be watching these people and you're going to be saying, right, I want to be doing exactly the same as them. I aspire to be them. I want to get these 1 pip stop losses. I want to take 100 RR. I want to be in every single move possible. You need to be very aware that all of our situations are actually going to be slightly different, right? Some people might have a broker with 0 spread, whereas another person might be funded with a company and then actually has a larger spread. So you might not be able to get these 1 pip stop losses so easily. So what I'm trying to say is you don't actually need to be taking these 1 pip stop losses like Bob is on Instagram, who shows you his 100 RR trade. If you actually need to use a bigger stop loss, then do it, right? No one is actually stopping you here. You need to do this for yourself. Same again, it is you versus you. Even if you are just getting into smart money concepts, what I would say is you actually need to use a bigger stop loss. Understand that you can take these trades. When I say a bigger stop loss, I still mean like trading directly from a 15-minute POI, right? That is absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong with that. And what you need to do is then, start building your confidence up with using these larger stop losses. In the long run, this is actually going to increase your confidence in trading, and then you're actually going to be able to be more consistent, right? Being consistent is where confidence is built, right? So you need to take the route or the steps towards consistency. And what is consistency? Consistency is doing something over and over and over again while following a rules-based system. I want to come out here and say to you guys that even for me, I've had a little bit of an ego issue and a little bit of a reputation issue recently. Over the past 3 weeks, I've really not hit too many trades because ultimately what I've done is I've ingrained in my mind that I need to take 1-2 pip stop losses. And if they're not 1-2 pip stop losses, then I'm actually not going to take the trade. And this is ultimately leading me to miss a lot of positions because the stop loss was just too big when in fact, it's actually not too big. It's just my idea of being too big. I'm sure, for me, when I first started, I was taking 50 pip stop losses. I didn't think that was too big. I thought that was just normal. That was just kind of what everyone did. But back then I had no conception of what a big stop loss was, what a small stop loss was. I was seeing, back then that people were doing position trades and they had a couple of 100 pip stop losses. And I was thinking, well, I've got a 50 pip stop. I must be doing all right. Also, for me, having my own community, I feel like I need to live up to the reputation and the standard that I show my students is possible. So if I'm not taking trades that are 1 pip stop loss, 2 pip stop losses, then what am I actually teaching them? Well, that's not the case, right? It doesn't matter how you actually make a profit. All that matters is you take the profit. And ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, a precision entry is whatever you define it is, right? If a precision entry is taking a 10 pip stop loss for absolutely literally getting the entry like that and then price just dumps, that's a precision entry, right? But it doesn't matter how big your stop loss is. It absolutely just depends on what you see and what you perceive as a precision entry. This leads us on to number 3, which I would say, do not backtest entries. For me, backtesting and case studies are 2 completely different things, right? What you want to be doing with backtesting is you actually want to be backtesting the concepts that you are learning. So that goes under structure, that goes under maybe order flow, that goes under maybe POIs, that goes under liquidity. You want to be understanding the phases of the market, because one of the things that you're trying to do as a trader is you're trying to get into a position in a good location. As long as the location is good, then you can get into a good position, same again, like the last point, with a larger stop loss, still covering where you think price will be invalidated. And once again, you will be building your confidence. If what you're doing is backtesting entries, what you're actually doing is losing the ability to be able to anticipate how long price is actually going to be in this, how long you're going to be in this position. How long does it actually take to play out? What are you actually going to be doing when you're managing this position? Are you going to be sitting there on your phone? Are you going to be specifically watching the market? What are you actually going to be doing? You kind of completely lose concept of the fact that, when you're on the replay tool, you can just press a button and then price goes forward. A button, price goes forward. Perfect, right? And then your trade is done. When you're in the replay mode, you have no sense of time of how long price is actually taking to get to your objective. You might go, oh, it actually only took 3 hours, but 3 hours in actual time is going to be completely different than 3 clicks on the replay tool. When you think about backtesting entries, what are you actually trying to do? Are you trying to find out what your entry model looks like? Are you trying to find out the best way that it looks like, or the variations of what it actually looks like? Are you trying to find what doesn't work? Are you trying to find what does work? There is many different things in which you might be backtesting for, right? And you might think that that is actually benefiting you. But one thing that you're actually going to do is you're going to focus purely on the trades which actually win, because what you would have done typically is, let's just say we're looking back at yesterday's price action. You're already going to have a brief view of what the market looks like when you have to click the replay button and bring it back to the previous day. So what you're actually doing is you're going to get a preemptive directional bias when ultimately, when you open up the day, you don't really know exactly where price is going to go. Obviously, you can build an idea and a narrative around where you think it's going to go, but you don't actually know. So going into backtesting, you're going to have that idea and you're going to go, okay, I want to look mainly short for today. And that might actually do you better than going back into the case studies, right? And what you actually do with a case study is you just plan out the whole trade. It depends how you see it. For me, I like case studies in the way of, this is just a case which I have studied, and this helps me to identify what the variations of my setup look like. What you should be doing is backtesting the concepts. Getting on to number 2, and this is where I anticipate most of you will leave the video because no one likes to talk about psychology. Most of us, from when we're very, very young, when we're a child or when we're a kid growing up, we have rules to be, abide by, right? We might be playing outside with our friends, right? And then suddenly your mum or your dad comes in or out and says, come on, let's go for some dinner, right? Now at that point, you're normally left with no decision other than the fact you need to leave your friends and you need to go and have dinner, right? And this might be something that you don't actually want to be doing. But what you're gonna have to do is go and have dinner, right? You need to eat. So fast forward when we get into the market, there is actually no structure, no framework, no rules around what you actually need to be doing, right? So you can come in and you can just say, well, I've spent all of my life abiding to these rules. Now I'm free. I'm now in kind of a limitless environment. There is no rules to kind of hold me back. Now I'm just going to do everything I can to take money out of the market. What this is actually going to do is this is going to hold you back from actually being able to take a profit, because what you're doing is you're really chasing the market. Mosquito. We all know that when you chase money or when you chase a move, it never ends up working out very well. We tend to try and slide around the edges, trying to do everything that we don't really need to do, right? Which kind of comes under making a trading plan, making a strategy, understanding the market, backtesting the market, going through the data that you actually have, gathering it all together and then making a system that actually works over time. And because there's no one there to call us out on our bullshit when we just go, oh, actually I should be backtesting really, but what I want to do is just sit there and kind of watch Netflix or binge a couple of episodes, we end up actually not getting anywhere. I fell into this category myself. When I first started trading, I never wanted to, create a proper trading plan. I always just said to myself, it's up here, right? It's up here. Now, trust me, this doesn't work. Right? You need to have something laid out on paper or on your computer as an actual plan, a step-by-step system that you can follow to the T, right? And if something's not on there, you don't take the trade. Stop being lazy and put in the work. You know these things that you need to do, right? So just actually set some time aside by building a system which you actually trust, and that is then going to help you with building your confidence. Whether that be increasing your emotional awareness and understanding when you are acting emotional, and then you're maybe going to start taking some shitty trades or being FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, just you being emotional. So the quicker that you can actually identify these things, the better it's actually going to be, because you're going to turn out and you're going to say, right, I'm being emotional, I'm going to step back from the charts, I'm going to take a break, and then I'll come back once I'm relaxed again. Actually start reading some psychology and some trading books. These are absolutely insane, right? They completely change the way that you look at the market. They change the way that you look at yourself. It's absolutely unmatched. Now, some of you might be saying, but Liam, I don't read, I can't read, I don't enjoy it, right? Trust me, if you want to be good at trading, you need to start reading, because it's going to open your mind to so many different things that you never thought about. You need to take a path that not many people have actually taken, and that's why it's so difficult. Now, I've got a few books to get you started if you're interested. So I'm currently reading Trading in the Zone. It's taken me a long time to get to this book, but I'm really enjoying it now that I'm actually in it. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Such an amazing read. Changed my mind completely on different habits and how to actually keep habits, how to kick bad habits, and how to build an idea around how to actually make a habit on the chart, and all round in my life. The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. Apologies if I said that wrong. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Such a great book. Definitely recommend it. For a short read, for any of you guys that aren't really interested in reading or haven't quite got into it, The 7 Habits of a Highly Successful Trader. It's a very short read and it can give you some really good insight into what you're actually up against. And finally, Mindset Secrets for Winning by Mark Minervini. Apologies for the pronunciation again, but such a great book. Definitely check that one out as well. I'll leave all of the names I've just read out in the description below so you can go check them out for yourself. And last but not least, number 1. Get into the markets yourself. There is no better market experience than live market experience. So many people say to me like, I don't understand this concept. I don't understand how to do this, how to do that. I don't really understand the entries, all these kind of different things. And then I go to them and I say, okay, well, have you actually been testing? Have you been entering? Have you been trying these things out? And they say, no. This is a massive downfall, and it's really going to hold you back if you aren't actually getting in the market. We're absolutely blessed in this industry because what we actually have is a demo account. Now, what other industries do you actually have a demo account available, right? You can't get into business and trial it and demo it. Yes, you can probably play a game on your phone or something with building a business, but it's completely not the same. There's no demo gym, right? You can look on your app and you can obviously look at your workouts and all this kind of stuff, but unless you get into the gym and you actually put in the work, you're not going to get the results that you want to see. You can get onto, Photoshop and then start editing a six-pack into your body, right? But there is no actually trying it kind of for real, but not actually getting anywhere, right? It just doesn't work. If you're now doing your driving license, there is no demo driving license, right? You have to get in the car and actually start driving yourself. If you're doing a bike license, you have to do exactly the same. There is no demo, right? You can't, yes, you can play a game again, right? There is many games for all of these kind of different things, but they don't actually give you the actual experience. All you have to do is just jump in with both feet and try it with the risk there. Now, in the trading industry or the investing industry, we are provided with a demo account, which allows us to get into the market with live conditions with absolutely zero risk. Now, what I would suggest is you need obviously to have a plan. You need to have an understanding of how you're going to get into these entries, but what you will do is you will take absolutely everything. This is going to give you live, real market experience, right? Everything is still moving exactly the same, right? There's no difference between a demo account and a live account. If you match them up, they are both exactly the same as long as you're going with the same broker, right? Once you're taking these positions, try and monitor them a little bit. Try and understand what is actually happening on the chart. Obviously, I understand that many people will be restricted by a job, so you won't be able to actually watch it. Maybe you can't actually take too many trades because you are working a job. This is kind of understandable, but you still need live market experience. If you have time on the chart, try and get into the positions that become available to you. I absolutely promise you that there is nothing like live market experience. So please get into your charts and start taking live trades. Not on a live account, on a demo account, right? Zero risk. Just take everything and just start understanding what is working, what is not, and this is really going to help you build up your confidence. Just as a side note, don't take absolutely everything. Make sure it fits the plan. I don't want you to take that out of context. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If anything helped you in this video, please do let me know in the comment section below. I love to read your comments and I'll reply to every single one of you. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week, depending on obviously when you're watching this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.